Let's make some noise. Come on.
That's right. Thank you, Nick Foles, once again for that rousing introduction. And yes, please, let's make some noise because we're back. It's Tuesday night, and the final word with MattyB is returned for yet another. Well, I'm back. You know, I've taken small victory laps here because I'm back for a second straight night, and it's been tough this summer. So anytime that I can get back on 2 nights in a row, I'll revel in that. I'm glad to be back. It's a great night to be here. All-Star game is all-starring along, and stop the presses, folks, because I have renewed faith in the All-Star game, and I will kind of add into that as we move through the program. I'll let you know what that new faith is. We're a week away, and I totally can't believe this. We are 1 week away from the start, essentially the start of the NFL football season, and it's time. It's time that I open the seal on my 2025 Philadelphia Eagles conversation tonight. We're gonna jump into some things with this football team. The only time you can really jump into this is in mid-July, right? The time of the year when all the prognosticators and the experts out there put out their top 10 lists of that, top 20 lists of this, top 5 lists of that. And I'm going to get into some of the more juicier lists that seem to affect people in this town a great deal. So that's going to be part of our conversation. Of course, we also have the of the night segment and our card review, as well as our day in Philadelphia sports history. All that is in store for you on this glorious Tuesday night. And I don't know where you are in the world, folks, but where I am, we've been stuck in a major heat wave over the last 3 weeks. And it's starting to take its toll. But I hope you're staying cool, comfortable, and collected where you are. I'm doing the best that I possibly can from where I am. So a lot to discuss tonight on the program. Let's get it rolling right off the bat, as we always typically do here on the show with our day in Philadelphia sports history. So let's strap in, strap on, strap up. Keep your heads, hand, and feet inside the car at all times, because I promise you it's going to be a bumpy ride. On this night, back in 2007, the Philadelphia Phillies lost 10-2 to the St. Louis Cardinals. But that is not why this is a significant night in Philadelphia sports history. It is the amount of losses that the team had accumulated over its course of its franchise history that was achieved on this night back in 2007. Because with the 10-2 loss to the Cardinals, the Philadelphia Philly franchise suffered its 10,000th. That's right, 10,000th career loss as a franchise. The only team in the city that has done that. I don't know if there's any other teams around the country that have done it. It's a distinction that we hold here in this city, and it's an interesting distinction. And it's a distinction that should come into play every time we get into a season like we're into right now with the Phillies, where there's so much untapped potential, and yet the expectations are World Series, but the reality is quite something different. So tonight, happy 10,000th loss day in Philadelphia Phillies history. And that is your day in Philadelphia sports history. Not a fun one, but definitely an important one, as we it kind of solidifies us as fans to be such hardcore, passionate sports fans, and yet we claim a 10,000 plus loss organization like the Phillies. So happy 10,000th loss day on this night back in 2007. So there you are. Your day in Philadelphia sports history. Joe Howell, what's going on? And Joe's telling me not to forget. Don't forget to open up the phone lines if people show up. All right, I will, Joe. Phone lines will open tonight, I promise. I will keep that. Let's get the chat going a little bit, and then I'll open up the phone lines. So that is definite. Thank you, Joe. You did your job, man. I challenged you last night to start doing that, and you did. You're 1 for 1, Joe. Batting 1,000. So let's get it going with our conversation tonight. The All-Star game is currently ongoing. Matter of fact, I don't know if you can see it up there. Where's it up there? It's kind of up there. And that little behind the logo is my TV. It's games on. Sort of background fodder at this point. Leading up to this game, and I purposely did not research this. I purposely did not want to know the answer to this question until the actual game. And I was pleasantly blown away when I found out the answer. But I am a fan of the MLB All-Star game. I've always been a fan of the MLB All-Star game for the aesthetics of it, obviously the people. And one of the things that endears me And I guess it's maybe because of my generation. And I understand that in this generation, with technology and information and anything you want at the tips of your fingers, it's not necessarily something that you look forward to when it comes to watching players from other teams compete together on the same team in an all-star game format. But in 1985, it was something very cool because, again, there wasn't much opportunity for me on a daily basis to watch Ricky Henderson play for the Oakland A's. There wasn't much of an opportunity for me to watch anybody sporting a Seattle Mariners jersey at any time. And growing up in Philadelphia in 1985, they weren't on TV, and they were terrible. So to actually see all these players representing their teams, wearing their team's stuff, was something that always endeared me to the All-Star game. And tonight, Major League Baseball came off the top ropes. The All-Star game is featuring all the players wearing their actual uniforms. They've gotten away from the Nike crap, and they're wearing their own uniforms. Hallelujah. Thank you, MLB. It was a pleasant surprise, and I'm glad it's happening. And right now, if you're wondering, I think it's like 6-0, I think, NL up on the American League as we're moving through this game. But I was extremely pleasantly surprised to watch these teams showing up in their own uniforms. National League in their home, American League in their road. It was a pure, it's pure. It's pure. It's what makes the All-Star game good for me. And I like that. I do. And I get it. Maybe that aesthetic quality is lost on this generation because you can watch whatever you want, whenever you want it, but it wasn't lost on my generation. And I'm still kicking and screaming through this planet and this life. So it appeals to me, and it appeals to a lot of people in my age group. So I'm happy. And yeah, the little things in life just make me happy. They do. But I'm very, very happy. So I'm happy. Hey, Ricky, what's going on, my man? How are you tonight? I just got tickets up. So Joe Hale's already he's already doing a preemptive strike for next season. Isn't the city doing some sort of declaration speech on Friday declaring, the 2026 All-Star Game watch is officially on for next year? And Joe Hale's already jumping off the top rope himself, and he's got tickets to next year's game. Joe, I'm not buying tickets to the All-Star Game. I'm going to be there covering it. I'm going to make it my life's mission to cover that All-Star Game for the It's a Rap Sports Network. It's actually 6-3. Okay, Dave's updating us again. Dave, I'm not watching the game at this point. I tuned out when it was 6-0, and I'm a little late tonight. Some technical difficulties, but it was 6-0 last time I saw. Yeah, you mentioned it last night, Ricky, and I'm going to get the phone lines open here in a minute, so maybe I can see your New Jersey, Ricky. But happy days are here, man. The All-Star game, they're wearing their own uniforms. I don't know, man. I'm digging that. I'm digging that. So that was my All-Star check-in, Kyle Schwarber. So as far as like the stuff leading up to it, I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't like the introductions of the starting lineup. I thought that was kind of I don't know. It's just not my thing. I didn't like that. So I didn't like that. But it's a give and take world, and I'll take what I got and I'll give what I got. So all in all, kudos to Major League Baseball. And the question a lot of people are asking, especially around this time of the year, is the All-Star game format in any sport, still relevant? And I think it is, especially in baseball. Baseball's unique in this country. It's more unique than basketball, football, or hockey because it is the national pastime. For as many people out there that want to claim that it's not, for many people who want to claim that baseball is on a decline, both in the attendance of games, the playing of the game, any of it, it's ridiculous. Baseball is the national pastime of the United States of America. It holds a different place in the pantheon of sports. It also holds a different place in the pantheon of all-star games. It's the only league that has an in-season all-star game. It's not just the game. It's not just the exhibition game. It's the celebration of the Midsummer Classic, the celebration of the midway point of the season, and then the expectations of a whole other half of baseball left to play. So there's more going on than just a baseball game. It's a whole aesthetic quality. You've reached a milestone of the season, a waypoint of the season. Let's step back and let's celebrate its stars. Let's celebrate its players. Let's celebrate what this game is. And again, to those morons out there who think there's no stars in this game, that this generation lacks the star power, you obviously don't watch baseball. You obviously have no idea what's happening in these other cities. But all you got to do is flip on YouTube, rewind to the All-Star introductions, and rewatch them and see some of these players, because the two starting pitchers of this game are rising stars of this league. Paul Skeens and the dude from what's his name? The dude from Detroit who won the Cy Young Award last year. And I remember watching the start of this game, and I'm watching Skubal go up against Ohtani to lead the game off for the American League. To me, that is a snapshot of what the future of this league is. That those are the future stars of this league. Ohtani is currently obviously a star, but there's a whole generation of new stars coming up, and all you had to do was tune into the All-Star game to see those players on display. And again, for those idiots out there who feel that this game is on a decline, who feel that this game is losing its spot in this country as its national pastime, you don't know what you're talking about because you don't watch baseball. You don't understand the sport, and you don't understand the religion that is the sport, because it goes beyond the field. It goes beyond the game itself. It's the history. It's all those things that make up this game for what it is. And I applaud MLB for what they do with the All-Star game. I applaud it. I want to see it go on for years. The only issue I had with it was the stupid Nike uniforms. Hated that crap. But now that they're back, I pray to God, Philadelphia, listen to me. 2026, don't screw this up. I know that they don't have much say in it, but at least for next year, if you want to go back to selling off the rights to wearing jerseys for this game, do it in 2027. Leave 2026 alone so we can watch it pure and simple in Philadelphia next year. So the All-Star game is ongoing. I hope you guys are enjoying it. It's been a terrible, terrible, boring week with no sports, but we're halfway through that point as we'll get games going here on, Friday night, as the Phillies will kick it off against the Angels. Yes, Ricky, I'm going to open the phone lines here momentarily, and we'll get you on, and I'll check out your New Jersey. So, all right, so All-Star conversation is sort of in the bag. I mean, there's nothing really much more to go over that other than sort of the, looking back and enjoying what's happening. Let's pivot now to football, because I got to do it. I mean, I don't necessarily want to do it, but I got to do it. It's time to kick it off, man. We have football starting in about a week as training camp will start for the Eagles. I think there's some teams out there that have already actually started training camp because they're whoever's opening in Brazil this year is, I think, already kind of doing that. But here in Philadelphia, we're gearing up for a Super Bowl defense, a title defense. And there's a lot of Eagles fans who believe that this team is, if not better, or the same, if not better, than they were when they walked off the field in 2024. I am not among those fans. I think this team is significantly worse than what the team that walked off the field in 2024 is. But the beautiful thing about a football season is things have to sometimes develop. And as we saw from last year with the Eagles and their rise up from mediocrity to Super Bowl champions, it can happen. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Eagles are not going to successfully defend their title. I am definitely not going to tell you that, but I'm not also going to tell you that it is a cinch in the bag type of situation. There's going to be a lot of things that have to break right for this team in order to repeat. And that's really kind of a similar situation for anybody who wants to win the Super Bowl. There's a degree of luck involved in that. Are the Eagles in a position to go back and successfully defend their title? Yeah, of course they are. With that offense, the players that they have on that offense, they are. There's some things that have not been addressed. There's some positions that might have been downgraded, and we'll see how that all meshes together and how people can be picked up or whatever. But we're going to start all this stuff up next week. And then over the next course of the next, 7-8 months, it's all going to be about the Eagles. But I want to ask this question tonight, because we are at that point of the season or of the off season where it's all about prepping for the new season, and everybody's coming up with their top 10 list and greatest quarterbacks, greatest running backs, greatest stadium hot dog, whatever. And it's funny to see the reaction of Eagles fans when it comes to some of these lists, especially the list involving the quarterback, Jalen Hurts. And the reaction that these Eagle fans, most of them, and I am going to say most of them kind of fall into this category. They go off the res on Jalen Hurts not being top 3 or top 5 or top 1 on these lists, and the degree of disrespect they feel that Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni receive from the national pundits or the national media. And I have a couple different responses to that. Number one, what else do you want? Who gives a rat's ass less what anybody else thinks of what's happening here in this town with the Eagles? Why is it so important for these? And this I'm going to throw on the homers. Why is it so important for the homers to be validated by the national media? Who gives a damn? Who cares who wants what or who feels what? The Super Bowl trophy's here. The Eagles are the champions. Regardless of how they got there or how they accomplished that feat, they accomplished it. Why is it so fired up important for homers to get validation from the national media about their quarterback, about Jalen Hurts' elite status in the National Football League? Why is that so fired up important? And another thing is, what is wrong with the fact if he's not an elite quarterback? Because he's not. But what's the big issue that he's not? He is a good quarterback. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's proven himself on the biggest stage of the NFL. What does it matter? He's not elite. He is, and what I mean by elite, I mean this. If I had to scrap the whole damn thing today, scrap the whole damn team, and I had to rebuild the team from any player available out there, would I go after Jalen Hurts as my starting quarterback? Now, honestly, if there's anybody out there who has the pick of any of the quarterbacks currently playing in the NFL or currently associated with the NFL, if there's anybody, and to include homers, if there's any of them that say that they would go after Jalen Hurts, they're straight up lying to you. They're lying to you because there's no way a rational individual or person would bypass the level of quarterback talent in this league for Jalen Hurts. There's no way to justify that, because you don't build a team around Jalen Hurts. You just don't. He's not that type of quarterback. You build a team around Pat Mahomes. You build a team around Josh Allen. You build a team around Joe Burrows. You don't build a team around Jalen Hurts. Now, you take a Jalen Hurts and you put him on a team that's got some good young talent, and you roll the dice because it's possible it could work. It worked here. But to classify Jalen Hurts as one of the top fringe quarterbacks in this league is absolutely ridiculous. But it's okay. It doesn't. What does it matter? What does it matter if he's not an elite quarterback? What does it matter if he's not a very good quarterback? What does it matter if he's an average quarterback? It doesn't matter. He won a Super Bowl. Now, is it a narrative that they're pushing? Is it a way for Eagles fans who are not feeling, I would say, maybe daisy fresh about the state of the team heading into 2025? Is it a defense mechanism for Homer? And I'm going to throw homers back under the bus. Is this a defense mechanism of the homers out there to sort of like hide their angst about the upcoming season? Because I know a lot of Eagles fans. I know a lot of Eagles fans, and it's a split down the middle when it comes to this season. There's a one side that says, you know, let's stamp the ticket. We're on our way to where the hell is it at this year? New Orleans? Wait, no, that's what LA. Wherever, San Francisco. It's in San Francisco this year. So they're on their way to San Francisco to the Super Bowl. And then there's another side of the fence. It's like they lost a lot on the defense, and I don't know yet about Jalen Hurts. So I get it. It's split down the middle. But do the homers sort of use the Jalen Hurts disrespect as a way to shield their anxiety about the upcoming season? Because homers are going to tell you out of their brainwashed mouths that everything is fine. They're going to win the Super Bowl. I heard 14 wins, 15 wins, whatever. They're not going to let on that they have inner concerns about certain aspects of this team. So are they using the Jalen Hurts disrespect as a way to defend themselves from their personal angst? Now, I'm playing psychiatrist here, and the wrong kind of guy to be doing that, but it really amazes me how it sends homers off the deep end for disrespect of their quarterback. I am not a Jalen Hurts guy. I absolutely am not. I'm also not a Jalen Hurts hater. I don't really care. If I had an opportunity to upgrade from Jalen Hurts, I would certainly upgrade from Jalen Hurts. Can the Eagles win a Super Bowl on the arm of Jalen Hurts? No, they cannot. Can they win a Super Bowl on the arm of Jalen Hurts, the legs of Saquon Barkley, and the defense of the 2024 Eagles? 100% yes, they could, and they did. Elite quarterbacks, to me, pick up everybody else around them. You know what? I could play wide receiver for the New England Patriots, and Tom Brady would be hitting me on the dime for 1,000 yards a season. I'd be catching touchdowns left and right, getting my clock cleaned in the process, but we would still win a Super Bowl if I was a wide receiver on the Tom Brady New England Patriots, because Tom Brady's elite level play raised everybody up around him. Gronkowski was a great tight end because of Tom Brady. Jerry Rice's Hall of Fame career was prolificated by Joe Montana. You see where I'm going with this? I don't think in any way or form, shape, that Jalen Hurts lifts up his offensive weapons around him. I think they lift him up. Obviously, Saquon Barkley lifted him up. And I think that A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, in a lot of ways, are not getting what they should be getting because of the inability of the quarterback to consistently put the ball out there for them. I think A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith should be and can be and ought to be better than they are now. And they're being held back by the limitations of the quarterback, which obviously is not an issue because they won a freaking Super Bowl. So when you look at all those factors and you look at the opportunity, if you had one, to rebuild your football team from the ground up, would you take Jalen Hurts as your quarterback? Anybody who answers that question with a yes is lying. Anybody who answers that question with a yes doesn't know what they're talking about. And anybody who answers that question with a yes is pushing a narrative. I'm not pushing a narrative. I am not a hater of Jalen Hurts. I'm not a believer in him. I think he's a very good quarterback du jour. I think the Eagles are going to ride him as long as they can. But at some point, Jalen Hurts will be found out for being the average quarterback that he is. If you took away Jalen Hurts' weapons, or I shouldn't say take them away, but if you downgraded them a little bit, do you affect Jalen Hurts? If you downgraded Tom Brady's weapons, that did not affect Tom Brady. You downgraded Joe Montana's weapons, did not affect Joe Montana because he went over to Kansas City and he did similar things there that he did in San Francisco. John Elway, Dan Marino, the list goes on and on and on about the great quarterbacks in this league, or the elite quarterbacks in this league. And Jalen Hurts it's disrespectful to put Jalen Hurts' name up there with those types of quarterbacks. So as far as all this hostility on these damn lists, first of all, who cares? Who absolutely cares what anybody else thinks? And why are you wasting your time? Revel in the moment. Revel in the last week of Super Bowl supremacy. Like, starting next week, it's an open season situation. Now it's everyone vying for what you got. You got one more week, or less than one more week, of sole dominance to be the Super Bowl champion. Starting next week, it's the race is on. So instead of being concerned about what the national media says, or being concerned about latching your wagon to Jalen Hurts' elite level play, which is ridiculous, enjoy the final week of Super Bowl dominance and be the Super Bowl champions for one more week, the undisputed Super Bowl champions for one more week before you become the defending Super Bowl champions. And as we get closer to this, starting next week, the conversation will shift to the Eagles. Not ready for it. Jalen is overrated. Listen, overrated by who? Is he overrated by the NFL? Is he overrated by himself? Is he overrated by the fans? I don't think he's overrated. I think the Eagles know what he is, and I think he knows what he is, and I think where it counts, he knows what he is, and where he is, he's a Super Bowl champ. And I again maintain that you take Jalen Hurts off the team last year, and that's another question. Everybody shies away when I ask this question. I ask a lot of questions directed at Jalen and about his contributions to the team last year. What was the one or any or only game that he ever took the Eagles on his shoulders last year and led them to victory? Without any help, like literally picked the team up out of the pit of despair and said, follow me, boys. I'm going to take you to the promised land. Without any help, without any extraordinary help, turnover help, Saquon Barkley help, stuff like that. Where was the games? Can anybody tell me the games that he did that? Because I'm having a hard time finding those games. I do maintain that any quarterback, any average to above average starting quarterback could have done what Jalen Hurts did with the Eagles last year in the contributions to winning the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I do, because I thought the ungodly play of Saquon Barkley and the ungodly play of that defense were the two main contributions to winning a Super Bowl. And this year, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Jalen Hurts rises above to elite status. It could happen. But if Saquon or the defense take a step backwards, this team will not succeed. And that's just my opinion. So I don't know if he's overrated, but yeah. Can we talk Phillies real quick? I believe I know why Crawford isn't called up. He hits grounders and averages mediocre. So you're telling me that Justin Crawford is not coming to the majors there, Joe Hale, because he hits ground balls? Wow, Joe. Tough, man. A lot of people. I don't know, man. This is a young player. He's going to have to figure it out eventually. He's going to have to figure out how to get on base eventually. How to get on, base. I don't know about that, man. Are you saying they're trying to work out his ground ball itis down in the minor leagues? I don't know. It could be. But here you go, Joe, and everybody else out there. The phone lines are now open. Please chime in. You don't need a camera. You just need a way for me to communicate with you voicely or audio-wise. So hop on in. The conversation is anything you want. Obviously, the main topic's on the table tonight. The All-Star game, Phillies, Eagles, anything, really. It's that time of the year that we're sort of kind of trying to find stuff to talk about as we're the calm before the proverbial storm. Second half of the season will start Friday. Eagles training camp starts next week. And yeah, that's really that's what's going on here in this town. But so Justin Crawford not getting called up because he hits grounders. I'm trying to wrap my head around this, Joe. Let me put this back up here, Joe. Where are you at? So Joe says, Justin Crawford, can we talk Phillies real quick? I believe I know why Crawford isn't called up. He hits grounders and average is mediocre. His batting average is mediocre? I'm trying to wrap my head around what you mean by that. He hits grounders, but he also hits a lot of gappers, man. He hits a lot of balls hard. He hits a lot of balls hard. I've watched about maybe 10 games he's played in live. I've watched 10 live games that he plays. He's a menace at the plate. And when he does get on, he causes all kinds of problems on the base pads. He devotes a lot of attention from the defense when he's on first. Justin Crawford is the real deal. Now, is he the real deal in 2025? Yeah, no, he's a rookie. But I honestly believe that 2-3 years from now, Justin Crawford is going to be one of those young new superstars in baseball. And whether that's with the Phillies or somebody else, I don't know. But I think he's the real deal. And I would hate to see the Phillies pass up on him. All right, so let's go. We got one. Ricky, let's join Ricky. Ricky, what's going on, man? So this is it, Ricky, huh? You got the powder blue Kyle Schwarber jersey. Is that what I'm seeing, Ricky?
Mm-hmm.
It is. Yeah, so Ricky, I don't know if you saw the thing here. I saw this on the internet today. The ball boy from the Phillies is also representing the Phillies at the All-Star game. Him and Kyle Schwarber posed for a picture together at the All-Star game. How cool was it to see? Now, Ricky, I don't know how you come out on this, and I am going to ask you, though. Did you like seeing Kyle Schwarber and the rest of the All-Stars wearing their actual team's jerseys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. It's better. It's better than the corporate Nike stuff that they've been wearing over the last few years. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, Kyle Schwarber represented by the Phillies in the All-Star game. Zach Wheeler made the All-Star team, did not want to participate due to maybe getting some rest. Ricky, we're We're getting ready to start the second half or the post All-Star break. Phillies are where they're at right now. The question is obviously the conversation is going to change dramatically from the All-Star break to the trade deadline here in a matter of a couple of days. In Ricky's opinion, are the Phillies going to make a significant trade at this trade deadline?
Mm-hmm.
Is it offense? Is it pitching? What does Ricky think the Phillies are going to target, or is it both? Pitching. So, Rick, you think it's pitching? Really? That's interesting. As you know, I come out on the offensive side of this. I think the Phillies really should target a couple of offensive upgrades, but again, I don't know because I don't believe it's one player. I believe it's a multitude of players. I believe this team is about 5 or 6 or potentially 7 players away offensively and pitching. But I don't know, Ricky. That's interesting. I don't know how I would feel giving up prospects for ball. Now, is it bullpen help or is it starters? What do you think? Are they going to go for the bullpen?
Bullpen.
Yeah. See, I don't know how I feel about that, Ricky, because most of the targeted players that are out there are all rentals. These are all players whose contracts expire at the end of the season. With the exception, of course, of Emmanuel Clase from Cleveland, he's under team control for the next few years. But the rest of them that I've seen are all expiring contracts that the Phillies would have to give up prospects for a rental. I don't know if I'm all in on that. And I think that also for me is part of this trade deadline. I don't want rentals. I want players that are going to be here for at least one more season. Give me at least 2026 with some of these guys, because the price of getting these players is going to be steep, because it's going to be players out of our system. It's going to be players, God forbid, like Crawford or Miller or Brian Racones, like we talked about last night, or Gabe Racones Jr., players like that. And I just don't want to throw good money after bad when it comes to those types of players, Ricky. So, but the trade deadline in about 2 weeks, Ricky Deal. Rick, thanks a lot for coming on. And I promise this will be a regular part of the show. I know I've been really in and out about that, but we'll keep it going, Ricky, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, my man?
Mm-hmm.
All right, buddy. All right, that was Ricky Deal. We got another caller. I know who this guy is. Joe, what's up, man?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
So the reason I brought that up about Crawford, my buddy's a season ticket holder, and right now he's struggling. And he didn't even make the All-Star team.
So he didn't make the Futures game, right? Yeah, I watched that today. I watched that on replay today. Yeah, I noticed that he didn't make it. Yeah, I noticed that.
High on him. I'm not. You stay down for one more year.
So you think Crawford should stay for another year? Stay in the minors for another season?
I believe the Phillies, I'm going to go different from Ricky. I'm going to go offense. There's a lot of fielder that they need help with.
Yeah, and I agree with offense. I've been saying offense all along. I think that this team has enough pitching as it is right now. Starting wise, they have enough pitching. Bullpen, it's an enigma because of the fact that we don't use roles. I don't know, and I still maintain that's going to be the curse of this team, regardless of who they have back there. I honestly think we have quality bullpen help. It's just that I don't think it's used correctly. I don't think there's any, without routine with these guys, I think it really messes with their heads. And so I'm okay staying pat with the pitching. It's got to be offense for me, because we're just not, we don't score runs consistently. We don't drive runs in consistently. We got to get players who can hit for contact, hit for average, and we just got to score more runs. We're averaging, I think, through the first half, I don't have the numbers in front of me, it was like four, a little bit over 4.5 runs a game, and that's not going to do it for me. You can't win a World Series doing that. So far through 15 games in the second half, I think they're down around 4 runs a game, which is absolutely terrible. And they come in these large, like crazy 13 runs in one game, and then they score 7 runs over the next 5 games, and then we get 13 runs in one. There's just no consistency there. And when you're involved in a 7-game series, as we all know, you got to be consistent through the series.
So my point of view is, if the Phillies somehow falter, which I want them to in the playoffs. I want Thompson out. How about calling up the Lehigh Valley manager just for a year, because he's and then work around with them?
If we were a team like, say, the White Sox or the Rockies or the Pirates, if we were a team that's going to be sort of like backlogged with former AAA guys soon because we're rebuilding, we're trying to find ourselves, I'd say yeah. But there's still a core of players on this team. There's still a heavy laden veteran core of players that need someone to kick him in the ass. And I don't think a AAA manager is going to do that. I don't think Bryce Harper's listening to the Lehigh Valley Pigs, Iron Pigs manager. I don't think he's listening to any manager, but I'm not saying you're wrong, Joe, but I just think it's the wrong time for that. If and when Rob Thompson gets the boot, I want an old school baseball guy. Yeah, I want to go back down the Joe Girardi road. Not with Joe Girardi, but a Joe Girardi-ish type manager. And there's a few names floating. We've talked about Ozzie Guillen's the name that's been brought up lately. The guy that did was Cora just got fired. He's available. Don Mattingly's my guy. I want him to come in. I really want a guy maybe who can learn from what Joe Girardi did not do well here and could maybe tailor it well. And Mattingly's in the game. I mean, he's been with Toronto for the last couple seasons. He obviously knows how to relate to these guys. I just need a guy with some Major League Baseball cash. I need an established guy.
Always the guy. Would you go Mark
Fire pitching coach?
What's that?
Would you go for
Him as pitching coach?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't hold as much stock on the pitching coaches, the bench coaches, and the hitting coaches that a lot of people do, because I always maintain that these guys are major leaguers. They were the 1% of the 1%. And what am I doing as a Major League Baseball hitting coach? What am I telling Bryce Harper? You know what I'm telling Bryce Harper? I'm telling him what I see. And you know what? You're tipping, you're dropping your hands. That's all I'm saying. I'm not teaching him any new styles. They're here for a reason. They got to this point for a reason. They don't need me to teach them how to hit. They know how to hit. I don't hold, just like in hockey, I don't really hold that much on a power play coach. It's the head coach. What are you teaching these guys?
If Jalen Hurts if there's any other quarterback besides Jalen Hurts, I wouldn't take Jalen Hurts.
Absolutely. I don't think that anybody can honestly answer that question and say anything different.
Jalen.
It'd be interesting if I could have the opportunity to rebuild the Eagles from the ground up and take the pick of the litter of quarterbacks that are currently in the NFL. I'm going to go Pat Mahomes. I'm going to go with the best of the best, and I'm going to go from there. That's where I would go. He might be on the wrong side of his career. His career might be kind of epoxing, and he might be on his way down. But still, a Pat Mahomes on his way down is better than every quarterback in this league right now.
Line over KC, also.
That's true. No, I agree with you, Joe. And it's not that I don't like Jalen Hurts or I hate Jalen Hurts. It's nothing like that. It's just that I'm not putting him into an elite status because he's not an elite quarterback, but that's not a bad thing. They won the Super Bowl, for God's sakes. Teams have won Super Bowls without elite quarterbacks in the past. It's okay not to have an elite quarterback. What really matters is that trophy. So who cares what people think about Jalen Hurts' ability? Now, if I have an opportunity to upgrade from him, yeah, I'm absolutely taking that opportunity. I would do it this offseason or next offseason or whenever to upgrade from him because I don't think he's long-term. I don't think Jalen Hurts will have long-term success as the Eagles starting quarterback.
Do you listen to any sports radio?
I haven't for a while. I stopped listening a long time ago.
Today they were bashing the NFL because they ranked him number 10. It was crazy.
Yeah, I saw that list. I saw something today on that, and I saw the backlash from just a few fans. And throughout the offseason, you see these lists drop all the time, and it creates the same sort of backlash. And that's basically what the whole point of my lead-in was. Who cares? Who gives a damn? They got the trophy, and that's all that really matters. But Eagles fans, and I'm not saying all, for some odd reason, Eagles fans want that validation. They say they don't, but they do. They want it. They crave it. They desire it. The hell with the trophies and the Super Bowls and the championships. No, I just want you to say my quarterback is elite. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Super Bowl. That's all we want. I want
One more.
So, Joe, as we get ready, and I want to last question, and I got to let you go. But as we get ready to start training camp next week, right now, if you look at this team as is today, without the emergence of Jihad Campbell, we don't know where he's going to be, or without the emergence of any of the lesser free agents this team brought in on defense and on offense. But if you look at this team right now versus the team that walked off the field, now it's a kind of a weird question because right now is not a finished product. We don't know what this team is because they haven't played yet. But just on paper, of the team that walked off the field 2024 versus this product right now, does Joe Hale have a warm and fuzzy that they're going to repeat as Super Bowl champions?
I think they're going to lose in the playoffs.
You're going to lose in the playoffs.
Yeah. Early playoffs.
Yeah. And a lot's going to happen between now and then. And hopefully the transformation like last year occurs this year and they can round themselves into form and be better.
Chance. Faults on the Flyers hiring.
Hiring who? Rick Tocchet? I can barely hear you, Joe. You're in and out.
Lehigh Valley Phantoms head coaching position.
Oh, who was it? I actually have not looked at it. I saw they hired somebody. I haven't really done any look on. I have not researched it. Now, Lappy got moved up, right? He's in the organization, but he got moved up to like advisor or something like that.
Danny's assistant.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I owe you guys a Flyers season review show. It's coming up, I promise. I'll get back into the Flyers, but I did see that the Phantoms hired a head coach. They also brought back Zayd Wisdom. The Phantoms did today on a contract, so that was interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Not a real needle mover, but it's interesting. But I promise hockey's coming. That's the great thing about the fall. It sucks that we're at the All-Star break because that means half the season's over. But the good part of the good half is coming, and then all the stuff that comes after that with football, hockey is definitely around the corner. Joe, pleasure always, man. Keep listening. Keep supporting me. I greatly appreciate it.
I will.
All right, brother. Take care. All right, Joe Hale. So phone lines are open if you guys want to jump in. We're going to keep them open for a little bit before I'll say goodnight. But let's move on to the other aspect of the program. Interesting conversation that Joe's reminding me. Joe's keeping me on task, man. He keeps me on task. I got to get back into the Flyers. Yeah, the Phantoms did hire a head coach. I saw it. I didn't really look much into it. And they also re-signed Zayd Wisdom. Somebody else got re-signed today too. But I gotta reprogram my damn brain, start thinking about hockey. I got to start working on those Flyers spotlight cards to get people ready for hockey season next year. So I'm enjoying the break of no slides or graphics, man. It's going through those draft shows. That's tough, man. Profiling like 60 players throughout the course of 6 months takes a lot out of you. But I got to get back on the horse because it's time to flip the page and get to hockey. But I will, and I promise. But let's get into the of the night segment here on the program. Yes, sorry, Bob. We are back, and it is the of the night segment tonight. We're the only thing we're really focusing on for now is the Phillies prospects because, we've already ran through the MLB draft. It's complete. We ran through the NHL draft. It's complete. The Flyers season is still too early for me to jump back into starting to break down some Flyers players, and this team is, let's face it, a little incomplete right now as we're still waiting for some more moves to happen. So, yeah, the only thing I got left really to go into the is the Phillies prospects, and I'm running out of them as we're down to about 3 left on that thing. So there could be a time here real shortly that I don't have no of the night to do. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, but that'll quickly change as the calendar flips. But tonight, Philly prospect-wise, we're going to talk about a 2024 draft pick who's currently toiling in the system. John Spikerman, who's about to welcome his former teammate, Gage Wood, to the mix next year, or probably in the next couple weeks. And I will have updates. So far, I have not seen anything where any of the Phillies draft picks have signed. Again, they have till August 1st, I believe, or the 31st of July, somewhere around there, to sign with the Phillies, or they cannot compete or participate in anything Phillies related for the rest of this season. The rights are still owned by the Phillies, but they can't report to a minor league facility. They can't utilize any of the facilities of the Phillies until they sign a contract. And they got to do it by August 1st, or they're ineligible to participate this year. And then you have literally up to an hour before next year's draft to sign everybody completely. So John Spikerman, I think he was a 4th-round pick last year, is a switch hitter. Spikerman is going to run his way up the organizational ladder. He has close to top of the scale speed that he uses on both sides of the ball, stealing a ton of bases and beating out a lot of ground balls for hits on the offensive end of things. He can cut down the swing and miss in his game considerably as a junior while continuing to draw walks. And while he's never shown much power, there's some strength and bat speed to feed. Hopefully will have enough impact as he faces better pitching. Now, this was done, I think I built this stuff back in like March or even in early April. He's no longer with the Thrashers. He is in Jersey Shore, so he is moving up. He's up now in high A, potentially maybe making a move. We haven't talked about him on the Down on the Phillies Farm report. He hasn't made the profile list, so he's still sort of finding himself. But for a 4th-round draft pick to go from drafted a year ago to high A, I mean, that's a pretty acceptable climb through the organization at this point. He's an outfielder. But again, we talked about it last night with Brian Racones. John Spikerman and players of that ilk concern me, because these are the players that I think are going to be pilfered by Dave Dombrowski here in the next couple weeks. I think that he's going to try, and I believe this, he'll try to stay away from players like Aiden Miller, Justin Crawford, Painter. He'll try to stay away from players like that, but he's going to go after the lesser guys, the tier 2, tier 3 guys, and John Spikerman is part of that tier 3 group. So I hope, that, and I know there's going to be some battle damage to this, and I know some casualties will fall. Is John Spikerman one? Is Brian Racones one? Is Gabe Racones Jr. one? Racones Jr. one? Is Eduardo Tait one? We'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, John Spikerman, last year's 4th-round pick, currently with the Jersey Shore Blue Claws, not the Thrashers. So there you go. There's your of the night segment on the program tonight. Matt, can you do an Eagles lineup, like an all-time Eagles lineup, like 53-man roster of all-time Eagles? I don't got that kind of time, Ricky. But I tell you what, with football season coming up, maybe we'll do I don't know. We'll think of something like that. I'll think of something we can do with that. Go Phillies. Yep. And can I do a flyer? I did a Flyers lineup. I did one back in the spring. I did it here on the program. I did top 4. I did 4 lines, 3 defensive pairings, and 2 goalies. Where were you at, Ricky? I already did that. Maybe I'll bring it back out as we get closer to the season. But yeah, that's already been done by me. I've done a Phillies and a Flyers lineup. Yeah, I've already done that. So with all the All-Star game in Philly next year, how do they choose managers? So with the All-Star game in Philly next year, how do they choose managers? Well, it would be the winners, the participants in the World Series. So whoever's going for the National League this year, that's why Boone and Roberts were the managers tonight, because it's the All-Star manager. It's the World Series managers from the season prior. Now, yeah, I mean that's how they do it. That's how they do it. That was an interesting question. How they choose managers. Joe, you didn't know that? I thought you knew that. It's like baseball 101. All right, let's move on to the best part of the night. I love this part. Matty B's card review. Yes, that's right. This is my favorite part of the night. I love ending the show on this. And I'm not saying that the show is ending, but it probably is. But the phone lines are open. So if you want to get in on out there, you have one last chance, one last segment to get in. We're going to call it a night. But I know Joe will keep me on task tomorrow and beyond, make sure I open up those phone lines early. So if you want to get in, you have about 10 minutes left. So please jump in now. But tonight, we are going to leave the modern era of baseball cards. Yeah, with a heavy heart, I decided to turn the clock back. We're heading back to the 90s. I'm not going back to 87, but we're going to go to the mid-90s. 96 to be exact, 96 tops to be even more exact. One of the first years, not the first, but one of the first years of the parallel introduction by tops. And parallels, as we know them to be, are the glitters, the refractors, the reflectors, the 3Ds, the holograms, all that stuff that we know that tops and all other base and other cards are today. 96 was kind of the kind of the brave the new waters type thing. They were trying this stuff out, and they tried it out on a player who I think who had a great rookie year in 95. I'm not going to put this past this guy, but I don't think they were necessarily looking at this guy to have the type of impact that he had on baseball throughout his career that he did, and to feature him in a refractor. This is a refractor card from 96. Is dumb luck for us card collectors out there, because if you happen to have one of these, and I have two of them, which I don't, I credit my stepson for this one because these are his. These are not mine. I never was this lucky, but he's got two of these cards, and again, the impact that this player had throughout his career that began in 95 was unknown at the time, but it's known now. And that is, of course, Derek Jeter. So this is it. This is his 96 Topps Bowman's Best refractor rookie card, Topps. If you're sitting on one of these, and first two things, if you're sitting on one of these, one, make sure you get it protected right now, like right now. If you're listening to the sound of my voice, and you have this card, and you know where it's at, throw it in some sort of card holder or plastic right now. Right now. After you do that, you need to send it off for grading, because this card is a game changer when it comes to collectible baseball cards. Currently on the high-end databases that I use to grade cards, this card as a PSA 9, not even a 10, but a 9, is a $500 baseball card. Straight up $500 baseball card. And even as a raw card, even if you want to say, you know what, I don't want to grade it, I want to put it out there for sale. And if you're looking at it using the good old-fashioned eye test, which we all do, and you're like, you know what, this could be an 8 or 9 or 7.5 at the very least bit, you're still looking, and I would still start my selling price at this card at about $300, with the potential that it could be more. But this card is a game changer. Obviously, Derek Jeter, I'm not going to go over his career accolades. We all know what the captain did. We all know how he, was Mr. Yankee. Maybe you can make an argument, and I hate the Yankees. I hate everything that they stand for and everything that they are, especially the 27 World Championships. But if you want to make an argument, he's probably the top. He's the Mount Rushmore. I'm not going to put a top 5 or 4. He's a Mount Rushmore New York Yankee of all time. And it's like almost stumbling upon a Babe Ruth card, a Babe Ruth rookie card. Now, not enough time has passed, but still enough time has passed. This card is $500 as a PSA 9. Another 20 years, 30 years from now, we're talking hundreds, potentially thousands of dollars. So if you have the card, put it under plastic or get it graded. Something. Protect it. As far as the card itself, again, one of the first variants of refractor by Topps. It's gotten better over the years, of course. This is sort of like real, like generic refractor. The card is the whole front of the card is Derek Jeter. Of course, this is what Topps went to around that time. They got away from using, borders a lot of. The back of the card, and I'll show it to you when I show you the live card, is sort of the stat. the old school stat sheets, but it's still different. It's color graphics, and it's got Jeter's picture and all that. So this it's optically, to me, if I found this card in a pack of 2025 tops, I'd be like, it's not optically pleasing, but it's Derek Jeter, it's a refractor, and it's a rookie card. So it's extremely pleasing to the wallet. So again, if you happen to find one of these cards in your collection, you need to protect it ASAP. And let me show you mine. Here's mine right here. There's two of them in this. I have actually two. As I said, I have two of these cards. They're in here together. And here's the back of the card as promised. Again, all color graphics with his picture, and using the full back of the card as Topps started to do around the mid-90s. So there you have it. Another one. Maybe I should have named this, because we've been doing a lot of heavy hitter cards lately. Did the Ohtani last night, rookie card. We got the Jeter rookie tonight. Maybe I should have segmented this card review as the heavy hitters in my collection, because these are some of the big guns in my own collection. So there you go. 96 Derek Jeter, Bowman's Best Topps refractor rookie card. And I also have one of his more rarer cards, 92 draft pick card. Yeah, they put out a draft pick card in 92 Topps with Derek Jeter, and maybe we'll do that one tomorrow night. Maybe we'll just run the gamut on the heavy hitters. But there you have it. 96 Derek Jeter is our card of the night. And can I do a Eagles lineup? We'll see, Ricky. That's a lot of work. I'm not doing 53 players. We'll try. Yeah, I'll think of something for that. But thank you, Ricky, for the suggestion. Thank you for chiming in tonight. Joe Hale, thank you for chiming in. Everyone out there, thank you for watching and listening. It was fun. Get back to the All-Star game if it's still going on. I don't even know if it's still happening, but I'm going to go back and watch it. You guys have a great night. Remember, tomorrow night on Wednesday, I'll be back. I don't know about tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's kind of touch and go. I got a later commitment tomorrow, so we'll see about tomorrow night. But I will be back on Thursday night. Also, the Attacking Third will be back on Thursday night. And maybe something else is coming Thursday. Just stay tuned. Stay tuned. I may have a special It's a Wrap Sports presentation on Thursday night. We'll see what we can do about a Phillies midway point show. I'm really busy. but I got to do better. But I'll let you know. You guys have a great rest of your night and an even better tomorrow. We will talk then. Take care.